Poll by Predict Oregon shows Drazen and Deal in a virtual dead heat among early voters. And a Hoffman Research Group poll commissioned by Dudley shows him beating Kotek 48 to 44% head-to-head. Turnout by supporters will likely make the difference here. And to talk about that and more is Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Read. Nice to have you here again.
Be here. Thanks, Ken.
Well, we talk about turnout. What's turnout looking like so far, and how does that compare to our previous primaries?
It's looking strong. We're nearly at 20%, and that puts us ahead of the last midterm elections. So, but the important point here is that we've got more than 24 hours. So, as a Secretary of State, I want that to go really high. I want every eligible voter who has not yet turned in their ballot to get that in, so their voice and their vote are both counted.
For people who haven't mailed in their ballots on time, obviously much too late to do that, but what are you suggesting to people to make sure their vote counts?
The best thing they could do is to get to an official county drop box. Those are easy to find, and if you can't do that, go to the elections office and hand your ballot in directly. That way you don't have to worry about the post office or anything else. That's the best option.
What are you also suggesting in terms of election security? Should people be concerned about that this time around? Any changes that you've made since the last election?
Oregonians should be confident. We run safe, accurate, and fair elections, and we'll continue to do that. We can talk about all the steps that are involved in our process that maintain that security. There is one thing that's different this year, which is, of course, that we have to fill in some of the gaps that are left when the Trump administration really cut funding for CISA, the agency that's charged with protecting our elections from cyber intrusions and foreign interference. So we're working with our county clerks all across the state to make sure that they have the resources and the know-how to deal with that.
What do you do as Secretary of State between now and when the numbers start coming in at 8 o'clock?
I'm checking in with all of our elections teams, with all of our county clerks across the state to make sure that they have what they need, make sure that they are following the proper procedures and making sure that everyone is ready to go. One thing that I think is really important, though, for your viewers and for people generally, pay attention to what happens at 8 o'clock, but realize that those results are unofficial at that point. The post office, as you know, has created some cuts, and there's a grace period in Oregon. So if your ballot is postmarked by Election Day, it can arrive up to 7 days late and be counted. So when you see those initial numbers, realize that they're probably going to change over time as more legal votes are counted.
Bottom line is you need to get out there and vote if you haven't done so already.
Yes, please.
All right. Secretary of State Tobias Read, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Ken.